Hello, everyone. Feng Shui Nation. This is how I'm gonna address all of you guys from now on. You're my Feng Shui people. Welcome to another live stream. If this is your first time stumbling onto my videos, my name is Safrina Kadri. I am the founder and principal consultant of Feng Shui and Prosper. You are going to see the camera moving a little bit and maybe even a puppy yelping in the background because I have my puppy in the office with me today. He was moving my camera stand, so let's hope he doesn't knock it over today. Hey, Sophie. Okay, so today we've got a couple of, well, actually we got a really important topic, and I'm gonna do like a mini training for you guys. Okay, this is one of the most important foundational information for anyone who is serious about Feng Shui. Okay, now though you guys have heard me talk about fast food Feng Shui before. Fast food Feng Shui will not talk about this topic. Okay, fast food Feng Shui is all about diluted stuff. It's all about all houses having the same energy. All houses gets the same Feng Shui treatment. That just doesn't make sense. Today's topic, where we talk about determining the period, is ingrained in all classical Feng Shui formulas and trainings. Okay? In classical Feng Shui, if you don't have the period, like we're talking about Flying Star, we're talking about 6 methods, Shen Gong Da Gua, Qin Men Dun Jia, all those schools of Feng Shui talk about determining the period. Now, I've got a slide ready for you guys, if I can find it. Okay. Actually, before I go into that, how many of you guys put it in the comment? How many years have you done or been interested in Feng Shui? And when was the first time you started doing Feng Shui based on the period of your home? Put it in the comment. Whether you guys are on Facebook or on YouTube, put it in the comment. I want to see. Don't feel bad starting off in fast food Feng Shui. That's how I started off too, right? Because that's where most books and online information is from. But I want to see, I'm curious to see how far were you in your Feng Shui journey before you were exposed to the idea that there is a Feng Shui period. Leslie says 2018. Okay, anyone else? 3 years ago. Okay, good. Tara was last year. Lydia was, you said 15-3. So does that mean that you've been following Feng Shui for 15 years and you've done period, Feng Shui based on period for 3 years? Gretchen says 5 years ago. Katya says the day you found me. When was that, Katya? Sylvia says, I started learning classical Feng Shui from my Feng Shui 2020 class. Shantae says, just started this year with me last month. My goodness, Shantae. Well, I'm glad. I am glad that most of you, or even if some of you, if you're still doing Feng Shui without the period, let me know as well. I'm here to save you. I'm here to save your time. I'm here to save your energy. I'm here to save your effort in wasting time on the wrong Feng Shui. I wonder if that's my husband. Hey, babe. Let's see if he can get the dog. Okay, go to daddy. His bed is here. Do you want his bed?
He probably doesn't want it.
Okay, for those of you who didn't see my puppy, you guys get to see him one more time. One more time for the camera. Here you go. Hey, buddy. This is the one that's a little bit naughty, making noises in the background. Okay. Ah, Lydia says, I use the period, but based on the day the house was built. Okay. Yes. So let's jump into it. Okay. Let me get rid of this. And how do I make this larger? Okay. So there are 4 types of energy, and hopefully you guys are hearing me okay. You're not hearing a feedback, right? Actually, you guys are hearing me okay? Are you hearing feedback? Because last time when I shared my screen, audio was a little off. Please let me know. Are you hearing me okay? I'm just going to keep going. Sound good? Okay, perfect. Thank you, Shar. All right. So there are, at the very least, 4 types of energy where classical feng shui is concerned, okay? There's permanent energy. There's, I call it permanent energy. Other, my peers might call it the natal chart or whatever, okay? It's just the original energy, the foundational, the feng shui frame or the feng shui foundation of your home, okay? There's also annual energy, and that energy changes every year, which is why every year I have my feng shui training where I get you guys, at least the ones who register, I get you guys ready to feng shui your home based on the energy of the year, right? This is where my annual training is based off of, but that's also connected to your permanent energy. There's also monthly energy. There's a set of energy that changes every month, right? That's why certain months are maybe a little bit more challenging than other months, because energy is cyclical, right? There's a good month, there's a not so great month, right? Because it constantly changes. And there's also energy that changes daily. Now, for those of you who are new to feng shui, you don't necessarily, I mean, it's great if you can, but it definitely takes some training and some guidance on how to do this properly. But if you're new to classical feng shui and you can't, or you don't know how to do it based on the monthly or the daily, that is fine. The daily is where we do a lot of like the date selection, even like those in my higher level in manifesting code, actually the elite platinum, I'm actually going to be doing like a private date selection where I do date selection for them based on the daily energies, right? But today we are talking about the permanent energies. And the permanent energy is determined by the period, which is the time, plus the facing, which is the compass reading, okay? Again, those of you who are trained in classical feng shui, or at the very least, those of you who took my annual training, we talk about the facing or the compass reading all the time. We won't cover it here. Today, we are talking about the period, which is part of the formula that this is the period is half of the formula needed, or the information needed to calculate the permanent energy of your home. You guys get this so far? Okay. So in classical feng shui, there's actually 2 types of cycles, but for flying star feng shui, we use this cycle, this chart that I'm sharing with you here. Okay. So this chart is called the 3 cycles and the 9 period. In Chinese, it's called 3元9运. Okay. So every cycle has 60 years because every cycle has 3 periods. And every period is 20 years. So period 1, for instance, started from 1864 till 1883. Period 2 is started from 1884 till 1903. So periods 1, 2, 3, meaning from 1864 until 1923, these years belong to the upper yuan, the upper cycle. okay, and so on and so forth. So what cycle and what period are we in right now? Actually, I can't see your comments because I have the screen boosted up, but okay. What period and what cycle are we in right now? We are in period 8 because right now we're year 2020. We are period 8. We are in the lower yuan, lower cycle. Okay, you guys don't need to worry about the cycle so much. At this point right now, we are talking about the period. Okay, we are determining the period. Now that you know, this is how we determine based on the year, which year falls onto which period. Okay, the determining period is a hotly contested topic in Feng Shui. In all honesty, many of the grandmasters cannot agree in terms of how to determine the period. Some schools determine period based on the building construction date. So for instance, if your house was built in 1934, for instance, then your house would be period 4 based on that school. Okay, that school would say, okay, period is we say that school will say that they determine period based on the construction. Some schools even say the start of construction. Some schools say the finish of the construction. It's just really confusing, right? But let's say if your house finished building in 1934, that school will say that your that house would be period 4, even though there are different occupants moving in and out after the house was built. Okay, and then some schools would say that the period is determined by the date the first occupant moved in. Okay, now for instance, this house that I just got, we think it's about 100 years old. Okay, so if it's 100 years old, so we're 2020, it would be 1920. Okay, 1920s. So I could potentially be, if we follow the other schools, my house would be potentially period 3 if it's built in 1920, okay? Or if it's like between 1924 till, let's say 1928, it will be period 4. But how would I know when the first occupants moved in, right? What if the house was built and then 3 years late and 3 years on, no one lives there? How can what if there are no records? Then if I have no records on when the first occupants move in, I would not know what period my house is. How many of you have bumped into that conundrum? How many of you have, like, I believe Lita was the one who said Lita actually took my certification course. Prior to my certification course, she was doing the period based on construction date, right? That's fine if it's a fairly new building where you can, let's say, go to the city planning office and figure out when the building was finished construction, when maybe it was ready for occupancy. But my lineage that I am in, which is the school of Grandmaster Tan Yang, okay, we base our period on the date of your move in. Okay, meaning, so I have a 100-year-old house, 1920s. Okay, I don't know what year specifically, right? It could be period 3 if it was 1922, let's say. It could be period 4, let's say if it's 1924. In my school, based on my grandmaster, our school says that your period is based on your move-in date. And because me and my family, we moved in, officially we moved in January this year, that would make this a period 8 house. Again, if you just joined us, why is determining period so important? Getting the period right is really important because that is how we calculate the permanent energy of the home. If you get the period wrong, then the calculation is wrong, right? If you get the compass reading wrong, the calculation for your permanent energy will be wrong. No ifs and buts about it. That is why this is so important. If you are in a building and you have many different units, the period is still based on when you moved into your unit, your apartment. Okay? So the previous building that I was in, it was a period 6 house. It finished building, from what I can Google, that building was finished in 1980. And I'm assuming there are, actually I've met people who've been in that building since they first opened doors. So there are people in that same building that have a period, they are in period 6. There are people in that same building that are in period 7. And my family and I, we moved in 2008, I think. We would be period 8. So it's the same building, but our permanent energy is different because our period is different. The whole building will have the same facing because it's one building. Everyone will have the same facing, and this is another conversation altogether. But because we have period 6, 7, and 8, then there are occupants in that building that will have different permanent energy. Okay? Who is lost so far? So the thing about classical feng shui is when you get it right, it is absolutely beautiful to see the information unfold. If you get the period right, the facing right, you can calculate back to how the experiences would be for the people living in that house or building or space, right? Many times. And even my students who are just like freshly graduated from my course, you can be the information from the correct period and the correct facing, and we calculate the permanent energy of the house. We can pinpoint why certain family members got sick. We can pinpoint why certain marriages didn't last long in that house. We can pinpoint where your money corners are. We can pinpoint all these things. We can look to the past, and then the client will confirm, okay, yeah, this actually did happen like 3-4 years ago. How did you know? Well, we did our permanent energy calculation, and that's how we can see. And that is how we can also forecast. With the right permanent energy calculation, a properly trained consultant can also forecast what could happen in the future. I can't share the email, I guess, because of privacy, but I would have emails where my clients will email me back and say, Safrina, your forecast came true. How did you know? Like, I would give them a written report for their house, like months before, and then something would happen a few months later, and then they go back to the report and they're like, oh, Safrina called it. It's not like I'm psychic. It's because the way my grandmaster passed down his observation, his wisdom, his knowledge down to us, we are honored enough to be given a set of knowledge that is not just powerful, but accurate. Those of you who have not joined me in Feng Shui 2021, please do. You can register now at FENGSHUI2021.com. And if you guys, I also have a free video series. Basically, the free video series is more for people who are new to Feng Shui, who are still doing fast food Feng Shui. The video series is where I really want to break the cycle of fast food Feng Shui for you guys, if you're still stuck at that. Again, there are people who try to do fast food Feng Shui and do flying star. That's why they're confused, just like what I told Miriam earlier. You have to, I want to say something, you know, maybe a little unladylike, but you have to choose. If you want to keep doing fast food Feng Shui, then do fast food Feng Shui. If you want to do flying star Feng Shui, you do flying star Feng Shui. And in classical, there's so many different schools as well, right? So that all really depends. Like when I do, so this one, the determining period, I must say, okay, you use this for flying star and you use this for Qimeng Dujia, okay? For advanced schools such as the 6 methods and for Xuan Kong Da Gua, and oh, there's one more school. We actually use a different determining period. I'm not going to go into that because it uses the early heaven and not the later heaven Bakwa, and because of that, then the cycles are all different. But anyway, what I just showed here, you use for flying star. You use for Qimeng Dunjia. Okay. So yeah, so bit.ly/Feng Shui School Series is more for you guys who are confused about Feng Shui. It's a series of 4 videos. Every day you get one short video. I think the longest probably like 10 minutes or something. Short videos where I go over the fast food Feng Shui, the Feng Shui for newbies that you can follow if you want to, a little bit of a peek into flying star Feng Shui and another peek into advanced Feng Shui. So register there if you're curious, and if you want to learn how to get your house ready for 2021, then you join me and all the other beautiful people who are already in Feng Shui 2021. Then I will get you ready, get your house ready based on the annual and the permanent energy of your home. Okay? Or I should say, how to do the annual placements based on the permanent energy of your home. I know it's a little bit confusing, but Feng Shui is confusing. Feng Shui is not meant to be simple. Feng Shui is not meant to be easily digestible, unfortunately, right? Something that is as powerful as Feng Shui has to be a little bit complicated, unfortunately, okay? So, yes, Ellen, oh, yeah. So the video series does have really good information. So thank you for that. All right, you guys, I'm going to leave you guys here. I'll see you guys in 2 weeks.